Hello guys, Kachuba here, back with another video. So guys, I just want to talk about something quickly, right? I want to talk just a few topics, but they tie in together nicely, right? The first one that I want to talk about is the importance of skills, right? Skills. Now, we use this word, I think we all know what skills mean. But for some reason, I have a feeling that most people haven't really internalized the importance of skills. So, a lot of people have not made the connection between making money, earning money, and skills. So, what I mean by that is you'll find someone who works, they get paid every month, but they don't deep down really understand that the reason they are getting paid is because they have a certain skill, right, that they are offering the company they work for. You see, you have someone who doesn't work. They don't realize that the biggest reason why they probably don't have a job yet is because they aren't skilled. Skill is value. When you're skilled at something, you can then add value to someone else, or in the example I'm making now, to someone else's business. What does add value mean? You can make their life easier. You see, if you are a truck driver and you are skilled at driving a truck and you work for a trucking company, you make the owner's life easier because he doesn't have to drive the truck anymore. He can focus on something else. He pays you every month, but if he pays you 15,000 Rand, the value that you're bringing to him is worth more than 50,000 Rand. So he gains. It's a net for him. You understand? Which is fine. That's how life works. That's business and. Right? But I need everyone to always understand that this thing is tied to skills. Because when we are fully aware that this whole thing is tied to skills, we then understand that you have the opportunity to take responsibility for your life and say that, okay, so if I'm not competitive in the marketplace, meaning I'm applying for jobs, if it's jobs, because this could be business. If you have a business as well and you're offering products and services in the market, it's still skills. It takes skills to make amazing products. It takes skills to build amazing services for other people, you see. So it all ties to skills, right? But I'm using the job example. If you have a job, right, and you're out there in the marketplace, you're trying, you're applying, sending CVs, right? You're going to these places physically, trying to do more than everyone else, but you're still not getting taken, right? Your skill set is lacking. Your skill set is lacking. So the really serious guy is going to try and fight to get the skill, even though they maybe aren't earning a job. They aren't earning money, right? But he or she realizes that the skill is the key to the job. So he fights, or she, or they, when I say they, he or she, they fight to get the skill first, right? So that they can then apply and then say that they are skilled at this type of thing. Suddenly, whoever's looking at this resume or the CV perks up now, and it's like, okay, so this person is skilled at this, because it's only skills that add value to someone else. If you aren't talking about skills, right? If you aren't talking skills, you are useless to someone else. I'm not saying useless as as in your human value. I'm talking in the marketplace. You are useless, right? So that was just the introduction about the importance of skills. Now moving on, guys. Now we're moving into, I'm gonna build this whole thing up, guys, so that everyone understands it. We're moving into a future whereby skills, the ability to learn new skills, is gonna be the most important skill. I'll repeat that. Your ability to learn new skills fast is gonna be the most important skill to have. You see, in our parents' time, or even grandparents' time, they could afford to start learning a skill in their teens or in their early 20s and master that skill and make money, earn money, if ever it's an individual, if it's a business, focus on a particular product, be good at making that product or service, which is one skill, right? It would take one major skill, I guess, and then make money with that for the rest of their life. If it's a person, right, that make money till they died 85 years old. You see, with that one skill, because they've mastered it. But now we're moving into a time whereby you can master a skill, but then that skill becomes obsolete. Now you need to learn a new skill fast. No time to be depressed, no time to lick your wounds, no time to feel sorry for yourself, right? In fact, you need to be anticipating where the market is going. You need, because remember, not all skills are going to be obsolete in the near future, right? But a lot of skills will be. So if you need to be honest with yourself, I'm talking about people who are currently working, by the way. To be honest, even if you aren't working, because this will still affect you. You see, you still need to be able to get to a point whereby you're able to uptake skills so fast, right? Chop and change between skills, right? So fast, because you're trying to remain competitive in the marketplace. And if you can't do that, unfortunately, you are going to suffer in future badly, especially if you're a man. No one cares about a man. In society, men are just dispensable and. But okay, let's just put that aside. But if you can't uptake new skills quickly, you're going to suffer, right? Now, the title of, okay, before I even go there, you're going to, let me just say this. You're going to suffer if you can't uptake new skills fast enough. Why? What's going on here, right? Sorry, guys, if I'm looking down. Actually, I've got notes. So I'm actually reading sort of like keywords and sort of and so on. So yeah, you're gonna suffer because we're moving into a time whereby AI and automation are gonna take away the repetitive and mundane type of jobs, low skill jobs, right? The problem now. I've titled this video on the thumbnail that Africa is still going to become poor, or is going to be more poor, right? And the reason I'm saying this is because African governments refuse to help their citizens focus on high value skills. With the biggest skill being teaching their citizens how to learn a new skill quickly, because that is a skill on its own. You see, so the biggest expense in a business is labor. The labor cost is going to be cut down to close to zero in a lot of businesses globally, because the mundane tasks, the low skill jobs, the repetitive jobs are going to be taken over by automation, are going to be taken over by robots, are going to be taken over by AI. AI, automation, all of that does not get tired. It works 24/7. You just have to do maintenance and, right? I watched a video whereby Elon Musk was saying that in future, products are going to be so cheap, dirt cheap. But the problem is not a lot of people are going to afford even the dirt cheap products, because only a few people will have jobs. The people who will have jobs are high value skills, right? Those creative type of skills, interpersonal type of skills, for example, sales, right? A robot can't sell a car to someone because that still requires an interpersonal touch. You see what I'm trying to say? So certain high value skills, creativity, right? The human being is still the most creative thing. AI can't replicate it yet to that level. So there's those type of skills that you can't mess with yet. But the repetitive stuff, which is most of the jobs in African countries, remember that, guys, all of that is going to be replaced by automation, by AI, and so on, right? Now you might be looking at me and say yeah, but in these African governments have long ago started to try to protect those jobs. For example, in South Africa, right? We shouldn't have petrol attendants in South Africa, to tell you the truth. The reason we have them is because the government won't accept a situation whereby there are no petrol attendants and people just fill their own tanks, the way it happens in Europe and the way it happens in North America. You see? So they're trying to protect those jobs, right? But let me tell you why it won't work. We live in a global marketplace, guys. Picture a farmer. Let's use a farmer as a good example, right? A South African farmer produces apples, and those apples are used to create cereals juice. That cereals juice is sold. Is the reason why cereals can employ so many workers at their farms is because they sell that cereals juice in the European market and in the North American market, right? And they earn in pounds, euros, dollars, right? Then they bring that money back to South Africa and pay their employees. And they're in the Western Cape. That's an example, right? But now picture an American farmer who doesn't have many employees anymore. He's got robots that are doing most of his work. In certain processes, there's automation going on there, right? So the human labor element is cut drastically. You see that he can then price his juices way cheaper when he sells his juice to Walmart. And when the South African farmer sells his juice to Walmart. So an example, the South African farmer, at the best price maybe he'll be able to give Walmart is for a liter of juice is $5. I'm making an example. But the American farmer, because the American economy has embraced AI, automation, all of robotics, all of that stuff, right? He benefits from that. He can then supply Walmart with the same quality juice, if not better quality, right? For $2 instead of $5. So the South African farmer is priced out of the market. He can't sell juices in the American economy anymore. And when he can't do that, he can't pay his employees in South Africa. You see? So it won't matter that the African governments are trying to protect these jobs here by not embracing AI, automation, and all these things, because South African businesses sell in a global market. They compete in a global market. And if the companies they are competing with are benefiting from these things, then it makes our companies uncompetitive or non-competitive. And as a result, right, we will lose. So what will happen? What I just painted now, that picture won't be allowed to happen. What will happen is, by force, AI, automation, and those things are going to be embraced even in Africa, right? Because let's be honest, that's what ends up happening with these lame political leaders in our governments in Africa, right? When the pressure comes, they fold, right? Because at the end of the day, they know that what follows is serious poverty. So it's going to be like this: either 40% of your population is employed while having AI, robotics, automation, and all of those things, or you have 80% of your population unemployed. Civil unrest, and. That's going to be the choice. And obviously, they'll choose the first option. Now, the problem is that 40% that is unemployed is still a huge chunk of people. Where are you now in all of this? You need to be able to learn skills fast, high-value skills that can't be replaced by these new things that are coming quickly. And if your skill does get replaced, or if it looks like it's going to be replaced, you need to have the skill of being able to learn a new skill fast. That's where we're moving, guys. We're moving. This is going to be the most competitive time in human history that's coming. And if you're sleeping, you will suffer in ways that you don't understand. People are going to get fired, retrenched. It's going to be a bloodbath out there. And people are not even aware of it. They're not ready of it. People are relaxed. People are just drinking every weekend. People are just doing whatever. They don't see it coming, right? I see it as clear as day. The next 10 years, The next 10 years. Listen to some of these things that the most important Americans say about what the world will look like in the next 5 years. Just 60 months, let alone 10 years. You know, skills, guys, skills. And whatever skills you learn, don't think about trying to just compete in the South African marketplace only, right? Get so good at stuff that even when you apply for a job in America, you have a good chance of getting it. You know, sign up for courses. I guess these are the people who are currently working because they have money, right? Or a bit of money. Sign up for courses, learn from people, join Facebook groups of people doing exactly the skill that you're trying to learn, right? Learn from them, you know, bounce off each other, stuff like that, but get good at something, right? I like sales, so that's what I'm focused on, to become a 1% salesperson, because I know I'll eat forever, and I'll eat in any country where they speak English in the world. I can go there and I'll eat, you see. But guys, I'm telling you, just watch out about this whole thing that I'm talking about, right? Please just hold on. Yeah, so I covered all my topics, guys. So that's the thing I just wanted to mention. We have to be careful, and we really have to embrace. So guys, this whole thing is not to say AI, automation, robotics is bad and all of that. No, I'm saying let's embrace this. Let's work with it. That is the person that is the country or that is gonna win, or the continent that is gonna win. That works with this thing, not fights it. If we try to fight it, we'll stay behind. Think about it this way. Africa is already poor, yet AI, robotics, automation isn't in full gear in Europe and in America and in Asia, not yet. But we're still struggling to compete. In other words, we're struggling to compete with economies whereby they are still very labor intensive, right? And remember, labor is a human, which means women get pregnant, people get tired, people go on leave, people get sick, and. But we're still struggling to compete with economies that are predominantly human based, right? Now, what happens when these economies are predominantly robot based, AI based? No more breaks now. These economies will be in full gear, pumping all the time, right? But we will still be trying to compete with humans. See what I'm trying to say? You know, so I'm talking about those low-skilled, mundane, repetitive tasks or jobs in a company. Those things are going to be replaced by machines, guys. And the only room for people in a company will be people who've got important skills. That's it. And they'll be paid a lot of money, by the way, because remember, the company will have excess money that it's saving because it's not paying human beings anymore. You see what I'm trying to say? So guys, that right? Sorry about that. The light just went off, but hopefully you can still see me. So guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. And subscribe, very important. Comment, very important. I appreciate your comments, guys, and I try my best to reply to everyone. And yeah, cheers, guys. Till the next one.